So after the diagnosis, and I knew it was breast cancer, I had to go and see my physician, and he had to explain to me what all would be done and what would happen. And of course, my mom went with me, and thank God she did. But I'm not going to name any names of any doctors or anything like that. This is not what this is about. This is just my experience. And, hopefully it'll help someone else if they're going through the same thing. But I wasn't nervous. It was more like I was more nervous before I got to the doctor's office, and where he had to explain to me what all this, you'll hear all this HER2 negative and all these weird phrases and stuff about breast cancer and stuff. I still don't know what any of that means, because it was just all this information flooding in at once, and all I wanted to know was I gonna lose my hair? Am I gonna lose my breasts? I mean, I was thinking all of these crazy thoughts, and it was so scary. But he basically told me that I needed a lumpectomy, so not a mastectomy. And so that was a good thing. And then after the lumpectomy, you have to go through what is called radiation. And I didn't really know anything about all that, because I had never really studied anything on breast cancer. I mean, that's the last thing you want to study. But now I kind of wanted to know everything about it. So when you're diagnosed with any kind of cancer, you kind of become a miniature expert at it, and you research everything there is to know about it. And so I had a lot of questions, and he spent a lot of time with me and my mother answering all of our questions, and the process and how long it would take and whatnot. So he was a very, very good doctor, and he had a very good bedside manner. He was just so calm, and he was relatively an expert in his field. And so I got lucky. I had a very good doctor, and his surgery was so good. His results were fantastic. And I also had to have nodectomy, a lymph nodectomy. And that's when they go in your lymph node to remove, to test that and to see if there are, if the cancer has spread into your lymphatic system or lymph node system. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not a doctor, so, but so I had that, and with that comes a whole new different experience as well, because I didn't know this either. But after my surgery, and they told me that they got everything, because when they do a lumpectomy, they take the surrounding tissue. They take the surrounding tissue around the cancer that they removed to test it to see if that is clear, and it was. So that was a good thing. But when they do the lymph nodectomy and they remove lymph nodes, you cannot, for the rest of your life, you cannot have anything like a blood pressure cuff on that arm or anything, because once you've had a lymph node removed, you can have what is called the Popeye syndrome. And of course, I'd never heard of that either, and I said, what the hell is that? And they explained to me that apparently any kind of, you can't give blood, or they can't take your blood from the arm or that side of your body or where you had your lymph nodes removed, because of this Popeye syndrome. And what that was is like the blood pressure cuff could cause your arm to swell, and like the Popeye, and like you'd have a swollen muscle, and it would be permanently just like that, like kind of a deformity, for lack of a better term. So they didn't explain that very well, but I really religiously told, every time I go to the doctor, they never can take my blood pressure from my right arm or anything. And anytime I have any kind of surgical procedure, which I have had many in my so-called young life, at this point I've had over like 30 procedures. None, no plastic surgery, nothing. No, I would look a hell of a lot better if I had any plastic surgery, but it's all been problems. I've just had a lot of medical issues in my life, and still I just keep on going. So that's one good thing. But the lymph node system, it prevents you from putting any kind of pressure or taking blood, or it can cause that Popeye syndrome, or malfunction of your muscles, and it may be slack or be stuck in an upright position. It's just so they tell you not to have any pressure there or anything. So that was something to get used to. And I have a permanent like pink little sweater cuff that I put on my arm when I go in to have any surgeries or anything, because that lets the medical staff know that I am a breast cancer survivor and that I've had some lymph nodes removed. And the next part of this story is for part 2 of the video, because what happened after this was really the worst part of my whole situation, and I'll address that in part 2 of the video. Thank you for watching, and I will continue in the next video. Please subscribe and like this video. Thank you.